"You know I'm leaving," Julian said, finishing his cold soup. His words sounded mundane and even somewhat dismissive. "I'm leaving you for another woman." Diana was in shock. She couldn't comprehend or accept what was happening. Yes, she knew that many women were abandoned by their husbands. Yes, she had heard such stories all around her. But she was 100% sure that she was guaranteed against this. "I am the best for my husband. We are so good together. He won't leave me. He just can't live without me," she thought. It was a marriage of love. When they got married, Diana and Julian were already adults, with professions and high-paying jobs. They didn't just love each other. They planned a long future together. They were both professionals in their fields, making pretty good money. And soon after the wedding, they were able to buy a 2-room apartment in a new building. The couple traveled a lot, enjoying each other's company. They were in no hurry to have children, thinking they still had plenty of time for that. "I'll be honest with you," Julian continued. "I can't keep silent and pretend like nothing is happening. Hiding something from you, keeping secrets, all that stuff, that's not in my nature. I've fallen out of love with you." He was sitting in the kitchen, so familiar, so dear, down to every hair on his skin, to every thread on his home clothes, that Diana didn't initially understand what he was even talking about. She was confused and forgot why she had a hot kettle in her hands. Putting it back on the stand, she turned to her husband in amazement. "What?" was all she could manage to say in a husky voice. "We are still young and can easily go our separate ways. I've met someone else and fallen in love with her. With her, everything is completely different from with you. She's different, unpredictable, and bright. She's a volcano of passion. You must understand and let me go without any hysterics. Deal?" Deal. What is there to make a deal about, she thought. All that was left was to slowly die, not understanding what to do with her life now. "Hey, by the way, we need to sell this apartment and split the money. Please don't resist and don't make it harder than it has to be. It's not in your best interests. And don't even think about trying to sue me to get half of it. It won't work." Julian continued his execution. So, they even needed to sell the apartment? The place where they were so happy together, so that nothing would remind Diana of her marriage. "I'll find a lawyer. He will quickly and efficiently arrange the division of the property. All that will be required from you is your consent. You can keep everything in the apartment. But I'm taking the car. Sorry about that. It was bought with my money, and you can't deny that." After saying all this, Julian, without waiting for Diana's response, went into the room to pack his things. Diana just stood there, bewildered, unable to move. It seemed like it was just a dream, a nightmare that could be dispelled by waking up. Not even remembering why she had come to the kitchen, dazed and confused, Diana went to the living room, where she lay down on the couch with her face to the wall. She lay there for a long time. Julian was walking back and forth, busily collecting everything he considered his. Then the front door slammed, and a vacuum began to form in the apartment, slowly sucking her in. Diana didn't remember if she slept that night. She was in a daze all the time. Diana only came to her senses the next morning when her colleague Stella called her from work. "What happened? Where are you? They say you have discipline issues." She chirped into the phone. "Are you sick or something?" "I'm not sick, I'm dying," Diana said, finally bursting into tears. That evening, Stella rushed over after work, holding a bottle of wine in one hand and a bag of ready-made food in the other. Everything she brought was just what Diana needed. Diana realized she hadn't eaten in a couple of days. "What a bastard," her friend cursed Diana's runaway husband. "Though they're all like that, Diana, and yours is no exception, looking out for new sensations. So he wants a volcano of passion. That's how it is? Oh, I never thought it would turn out like this. I trusted him," Diana sobbed, slightly relaxed after a glass of wine and some food. "We all trust them, and they behave like..." The next year was very long and emotionally difficult for Diana. The hardest part was accepting that her husband had cheated and left her, and cleansing herself of the filth she found herself in by marrying Julian. She now lived alone in her apartment, but the betrayal of her beloved had deeply shaken her. It took an immense amount of strength to recover. Diana moved into her new modest apartment, which she had bought after the division of property. The hustle and bustle of repairs, buying furniture, and all the little things needed for the new home slightly distracted her from the hurt and despair. Did she think about revenge or retribution against her ex for the insult and pain she had felt for a long time after his departure? Probably, but she sincerely believed that fate would punish those who deserved it. Julian reappeared in her life when she had finally moved past her grief and healed from the betrayal. He came back when she no longer cared about what was happening with him. One beautiful summer evening, there was a knock at the door of her new apartment. Julian stood on the threshold, a single suitcase behind him. "Diana, you have to give me a second chance. I know you still love me, otherwise you wouldn't be alone now," he declared without a shadow of a doubt. Diana didn't respond. Could he be serious at all? The only thing she wanted to do was laugh. "Can you imagine she kicked me out of my own apartment, and now I'm just on the street? She said she was bored with me. Can you imagine? She said I lacked fire, boldness, and determination. So she wants a volcano of passion?" Diana smirked. "What? What did you say? I didn't catch that," Julian asked, shifting from foot to foot on the doormat in the hallway. "I said the boomerang has come back to you, and I'm very glad it did." "Diana, let the past be the past now. Let's put all that aside and start a new life together. Remember how good we were?" Julian continued pompously, trying to ignore the sarcastic look on his ex-wife's face. "You certainly have an odd sense of humor, Julian. For years, I painstakingly put myself back together, rising from the ashes you left me in, and now you just waltz in asking me to make a brand new start. But such things do happen, don't they? So will you take me back, Diana? Even if you were the last man on earth, I would say no. I don't forgive betrayal. I can't, and I don't want to. Step aside and live your life, but without me. You got what you deserved. The boomerang came back to you, Julian, and honestly, you deserved it." Several years passed. Diana is married to a wonderful man now. They have a daughter growing up. Does Diana fear betrayal? Of course she does now, but she hopes for the best, knowing she deserves happiness. 6 years passed since the day Diana slammed the door in Julian's face. Life gradually improved. Diana married Luke, a kind and reliable man she met at work. They had a daughter named Daisy. Now she is 3 years old. One day, while walking with Daisy in the park, Diana accidentally ran into Julian. He looked disheveled and tired. "Hi, Diana," he said hesitantly. "Hello, Julian," Diana replied calmly. "How are you? I heard you got married again." "Yes, I did. This is my daughter, Daisy." Diana looked lovingly at the girl. Julian smiled sadly. "I'm happy for you. You know, I've thought a lot about what I did. I wanted to ask for forgiveness, but I realize it's too late. Diana, I made a terrible mistake. I haven't been able to forget you all these years. Maybe we could talk?" Diana looked at him coldly. "No, Julian. We have nothing to talk about. You made your choice many years ago. But I've changed. I've realized how much I loved you," Julian began. "Come on, give me a break," Diana interrupted. "What you called love wasn't really love. True love doesn't betray and doesn't abandon. I've learned to value myself, and I won't let anyone treat me like that again. Daisy, sweetie, it's time to go home," she called her daughter. Turning to Julian, she said firmly, "Goodbye, Julian. I hope you've learned your lesson and won't hurt another woman like you hurt me, but I don't need you anymore." Taking her daughter's hand, Diana confidently walked away without looking back. She felt relieved and proud that she had been able to leave the past behind and build a new, happy life without the one who had once broken her heart.